In 2017, Dolton, Illinois, a town suffering from mismanagement and corruption, needed a change. The town had long been struggling with financial issues, a lack of trust in government, and rising crime rates. Enter Tiffany Henyard, an outsider, with a vision for transformation, a woman with no political family background. Henyard's candidacy offered a breath of fresh air in a town that had seen far too much of the same old political faces. Henyard's campaign was nothing short of revolutionary. She presented herself as the person who could bring true change, a woman who wasn't beholden to the usual political players. With a background in community advocacy and a reputation for toughness, she quickly gained traction among voters. She promised to reduce crime, fix Dolton's finances, and create a more transparent government. Her supporters were energized by her passion, her dedication to making the community better, and her undeniable charisma. When Henyard was elected mayor, she became a symbol of hope for many Dolton residents. They believed in her vision, her promise to clean up the town, and her message of change. In the early days of her administration, Henyard appeared to live up to her campaign promises. Crime rates dropped, local businesses started seeing improvements, and the town's finances began to stabilize. Henyard's charisma and ability to connect with people kept her approval ratings high, and the future seemed promising. However, as time went on, the cracks in Henyard's leadership began to show. The first signs of trouble appeared in 2020 when questions began to surface about the way Henyard was handling taxpayer money. Despite her promises of fiscal responsibility, reports emerged that suggested she was using town funds for personal expenses. Allegations surfaced that Henyard had been taking lavish vacations and purchasing expensive gifts, all on the taxpayers' dime. For many, this was the first sign that the woman they had elected to reform the town might not be the one they had hoped for. As the public scrutiny grew, Henyard attempted to brush off the accusations. She painted herself as a victim, claiming that these allegations were politically motivated and that her opponents were simply trying to tear her down. But despite her attempts to deflect, the damage was done. Trust began to erode, and whispers of financial misconduct started to spread. It wasn't just the misuse of funds that raised eyebrows. Henyard's political relationships began to come under the microscope as well. In 2021, investigations into her administration uncovered that she had been awarding lucrative contracts to political allies and close friends. Her critics accused her of cronyism, of using her position to benefit those closest to her, rather than serving the interests of the community. In a town that had elected her to end corruption, these revelations were nothing short of devastating. Henyard had built her political career on the promise of reforming Dolton, yet her own actions seemed to mirror the very corruption she had campaigned against. The people of Dolton began to wonder, had they been duped? Had they trusted the wrong person? As the allegations mounted, things took a dramatic turn. In 2023, the FBI opened an investigation into Henyard's financial dealings, focusing on possible corruption. The investigation rocked Dolton to its core. The mayor who had promised to root out corruption was now under scrutiny for being part of the very system she had vowed to dismantle. It was a bitter irony that no one could ignore. The FBI probe centered around the alleged misuse of town funds, possible kickbacks, and the awarding of contracts to businesses owned by Henyard's friends and allies. It became clear that the corruption Henyard had promised to end was, in fact, a problem within her own administration. As the investigation grew more serious, Henyard's political opponents pounced, using the FBI probe to paint her as a symbol of everything wrong with local government. Meanwhile, Henyard's non-profit organization, which had been one of her signature accomplishments, came under fire as well. Allegations surfaced that the organization had mismanaged funds, and the Illinois Attorney General's office ordered Henyard to halt fundraising efforts. It was a devastating blow to her credibility, and by now, it seemed like Henyard's political career was spiraling out of control. Despite the mounting scandals, Henyard refused to back down. In 2024, she announced her candidacy for re-election, determined to prove that she was the best person to continue leading Dolton. She framed her re-election campaign as a fight for survival against the corrupt political establishment, against the system that was trying to bring her down. Her message was one of resilience. Henyard painted herself as the victim of a political witch hunt, claiming that the allegations against her were nothing more than a smear campaign orchestrated by those who wanted to see her fail. She argued that she had made mistakes, but that she was still the right person to lead Dolton forward. Many of her loyal supporters believed her, clinging to the hope that the change she had promised was still within reach. But Henyard's critics were just as vocal, led by State Senator Napoleon Harris. Henyard's opponents were quick to point out the numerous scandals surrounding her administration. Harris, a well-respected figure in the community, positioned himself as the leader who could restore integrity to Dolton. His platform emphasized transparency, honesty, and a commitment to putting the people of Dolton first, values that Henyard had promised, but had seemingly abandoned. As the election drew closer, the battle became more vicious. Henyard's camp continued to attack her opponents, while Harris and other critics pushed the narrative that Henyard was simply too compromised to continue in office. The media coverage became relentless, with stories about Henyard's past mistakes dominating the news cycle. In December 2024, the people of Dolton spoke, and Henyard's political career came to a crashing halt in a decisive loss. Henyard was defeated by Napoleon Harris in the re-election caucus. It was a stunning defeat for a leader who had once seemed unstoppable. Her downfall was swift and brutal, and her legacy would forever be tarnished by the scandals and accusations that had plagued her time in office. For Henyard, the loss was more than just an electoral defeat. It was a humbling end to a political career built on promises of reform and change. In the end, the very issues she had vowed to fix, corruption, financial mismanagement, and cronyism, were the ones that led to her downfall. The people of Dolton had given her a chance, but ultimately, they decided they could no longer trust her to lead. Now, with her political future uncertain, Tiffany Henyard's story leaves us with many unanswered questions. Will she attempt a political comeback in the future, or has she become a cautionary tale of the dangers of unchecked ambition and power? Can she rebuild her reputation, or has her political career come to an end? Her story serves as a powerful reminder of the fragility of leadership. Henyard's rise to power was marked by hope and promise, but her fall was defined by scandal, corruption, and betrayal. The people of Dolton entrusted her with their future, but in the end, it was her own actions that led to her downfall. Thank you for watching this in-depth look at the rise and fall of Tiffany Henyard. What do you think? Was her downfall inevitable, or could she have redeemed herself? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, if you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of politics and scandal.